You bring up a really interesting point because I think in nature, the phrase goes, birds of a feather flock together, right?
Yes.
And if you look at nature, for the most part, we are the only species that commingles. And so there is something to be said of that when it comes to humans and vibrational energy. Can we can we be in the same room as somebody vibrating at a lower frequency than us? Yes. What is that person who's vibrating at a lower frequency going to do impacting our vibrational frequency is another question. Are they going to drag us down? Are we going to realize, sense that, and in a pure consciousness kind of way, resist that? Are we going to try to elevate them up? I think everything is an option, but I do believe that there is a synergistic effect. A lot of times people use synergy as a good thing, but maybe I'm wrong to say it this way, but I think it could go both ways. There could be a synergistic effect both ways, that if we allow a person around us who's at a lower vibrational energy to drag us down, then that can be a synergistic effect of two or more people in a room of different frequencies. And the other could be the effect, a positive effect, that we could raise people up. Um, but I have been told by a lot of different people that as you do this work, you raise your energy vibrational level, it is very likely that you're going to find certain people in your circle of influence disappear. They'll just go
Yes.
away, and you're going to find new people coming in. And typically it is a balancing effect of your energies and the people around you. Um, have you sent I've seen it already. You're a good example, Joshua. You're in my close circle of influence now, and in some respects I feel like you vibrate at a higher level than I do, but it's a beautiful relationship because we can help each other and raise each other up. um the you mentioned self-assess, or I was talking about self-assessment, and how can we raise our vibrational energy? Is it as simple as saying just keep being aware of our thoughts and our emotions, keep having intentions set forward to change those to something else, having, even if we have to write it down, having something in clear intention form, and then the meditations also to help us release those trapped emotions and to assist us in rewiring our neural pathways. I mean, can it be that simple?
Yes. I mean, it is that simple. It just it takes time. I know for myself, and when I'm speaking, generally I'm just speaking about my experience. And the first thing in most every book, every self-help book, everything, every type of different any spiritual teaching or anything like that, it has always turned, the first lesson is always, I've had to come to realize, is that I'm the problem. And that's very important because my brain even today likes to think, it likes to place the problem outside of me. And until I can get over that first hurdle, I'm saying that's the first hurdle every day. So even when I get up in the morning, I have to do a little ritual to where I reconfirm, and then what I'm talking about to get into this heart coherence is that I'm the problem, that I am the everything I'm experiencing, everything that's happening is because of me. It's the moment that I turn it and try to say, well, it's this person's fault, or this person is not vibrating at the level, so they're keeping me down, or this thing happened, or this car cut me off. As long as I'm in that type of thought process of a negative, then I cannot get into coherence. So my first part of surrender is realizing I am the problem. And I don't mean like doom and gloom, like I'm just a bad person, but I am the problem for me, just as everybody else is their own problem for them.
Can
And
I butt in here? It's realizing
yes,
it's realizing that you are the problem without the emotion attached, right?
yes, 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 I'm the problem, because what else? If I'm the problem, then what else am I? I'm also the solution.
Now,
So
forgive me for bringing up a private conversation topic, but I think it's really good for this video, and we both can have experience with this that we can share. But when you say you're the problem, when you have that realization, you mentioned a while ago, when it comes to our spousal relationships, even just girlfriend boyfriend type relationships, but let's say it's a serious romantic type relationship. If we decide to exit that relationship, um, because of issues in the relationship, it is highly likely that your next relationship is going to be very similar. And
Yes.
you were postulating that it's because we were the problem to begin with, and we're just
Yes.
going to attract another relationship that's going to have the same outcome. Tell me about that. I want our audience to hear.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So when so I'm in a relationship, and before I got in I've been in a relationship for about 2 years, and before I got into the relationship, I was single for a year because I had realized that prior to that year of being single, I kept attracting the same type of girl into my life, and it wasn't necessarily that the girl's bad, but it's just a self reflection of me. So all the character defects that I struggle with, it keeps showing up in my life. When the the year that I didn't get into a relationship, I worked diligently on myself, and then I realized somebody told me to write down all of the things that I wanted in a relationship, and so I did. I wrote down, I wanted somebody kind, caring, compassionate, empathetic, and a whole list of things. I wrote this whole list and I brought it to a person, and the person looked at the list and said, those are really good. Now you become all of those things. And that was like, okay. So then I started working on becoming all of those things. And when I became all of those things, my current relationship came into my life. And it could not have been unless I was on that vibrational match. It could not have, if could I have still attracted a relationship at a lower vibrational match? Yes, I could have. It just would have been the same of that I was. So, and then even now, if I stop exhibiting any of those attributes in the relationship, if I start becoming more selfish, if I start if I'm not in coherence, then my relationship starts to have problems because it's starting to it's the vibration doesn't match. And now sometimes that happens naturally. Sometimes she has a bad day, sometimes I have a bad day, and that's okay. It's just getting back into that coherence. So when I know I'm the problem, I know there, because here's the question: can the person in any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or friendship, will anybody changing help me? Like if I get somebody else to change, I can't make anybody else change. That is something I have
Change
no
ourselves.
ability to do, but I can change myself all day long.
Yep.
And when I realize that, whoa, when I change myself, either my perception of the relationship changes, or my relationship does change. But the key point is it always comes back to me. So I always I have to have people in my life, because my brain likes to trick me, and then I will slowly start to shift out of that, and then I'll get out of coherence, and then I'll start calling people like, this is what happened. I'll get somebody to try to co-sign me, right? I could call Kyle and be like, Kyle, she did this, don't you think this is horrible? And if he co-signs me and says, yeah, that's horrible, blah 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 blah, but if he says, no, remember, you're the problem, and then it's like, oh, I did it again.
Misery
Yes.
loves company, right?
Yes. I'm the problem. I'm gonna get right.
Let
Yeah.
me hone you in here for a minute. So you had a period in your life where you realized you need to raise your vibrational energy.
Yes.
Therefore, you're able to attract a much a different level energy vibrating partner in your life, right? And
Yes.
I think we can both say that that's a better relationship than what you probably would have garnered if you hadn't made those changes in your life, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
So now let me ask you this question. Is she practicing meditation work?
Yes, she does.
Are you seeing that um, either one of you is out of sync in a vibrational level as we grow and change in this work? Are you seeing that there's a disparity where one or the other is higher or lower? And how does that impact y'all's relationship? And how do you talk about that? Do you even talk about it together?
We do talk about it together. It has one of the first keys I have to remember is that this is just specific to my relationship, that she has her own way, and she has her own path. She has her own connection to source, and so do I. and they may not look the same, because so she does do meditation. She has been to advanced follow-up Dr. Joe meditations. She works with other girlfriends that she has, and yeah, she does do meditate, and we do meditation separately, and sometimes we do meditation together. And to your, directly to your question is, sometimes we do get out of sync. Sometimes I start vibrating at a higher level, and she's said it before. She said sometimes that she's felt like she can't keep up, and then some days I'm low, and then I feel frustrated, and it has, all that has to stop, because it's not a competition, it's not a comparison, and it's not a competition. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that we're able to kind of talk about it, and then what we try to do is we try to lift each other up. But if we can't, then it's kind of it's a topic I use. It's called detach with love. So basically, because one of you will drag each other down, so I'll just detach and just give it some time, and maybe she'll meditate, maybe I'll meditate, because I can get out of heart coherence in that process, and then we can kind of get into a like an entanglement. And
In a
when
negative,
that do what?
a negative type of entanglement.
Yes, a negative type of entanglement, and then we can't differentiate who's who, and we have to kind of separate and then come back together.
So
And
I started.
just learning, learning new ways to communicate, and new ways to I wouldn't have known how to do that in the past.